So now what we're going to do is raise a power to another power, multiply our exponents. So 5 raised to the 0 times negative 2 is still 0. And then here we got 3. Negative 1 times negative 2 is going to be positive 2. 5 raised to the 0 power is 1. 3 squared is 9. That was an easy one. All right, number 3. Here we have a monomial times another monomial. We've got numbers and letters. So what I like to do first is I like to deal with my numbers. So I have a negative 3 times an 8. Well, negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. Now I've got p to the negative 2 times p to the 6. Multiplying monomials, I add my exponents. So it's going to be p to the negative 2 plus 6, which is 4. Okay, moving on to number 4. We got a quotient rule right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide our numbers. 57 divided by 3, and then we're going to do the letters next.
But you subtracting them,
Subtract your exponents, right? So 57 divided by 3, let's see, 3 goes into 5 once, leaving me with 27, so that's 19. Now we have x to the 4th over x to the 1st. Subtract your exponents. X to the 3rd. Y to the negative 2nd, y to the negative 3rd. So that's what over here I'm going to write over here. So we have y to the negative 2nd over y to the negative 3rd. We're supposed to be subtracting these. So we have y to the negative 2 minus a negative 3. If I have a minus and a negative right next to each other, we're going to add. So this becomes y to the negative 2 plus 3 is 1. So now we have minus 11x cubed y. Now this is why they gave us this right here. When adding or subtracting monomials, combine like terms if you can. So here we have x cubed y. These are like terms. They have the same exact letters, the same exact exponents. So now we get to combine these. 19 minus 11 is 8. And then tag on your x cubed y. Okay? Last 4. All right, number 5. It looks like we have the multiplication rule right here. So you have to think to yourself, if I'm multiplying letters, if I'm multiplying monomials, I need to add my exponents. First, let's deal with the numbers in front. So we have a 3/4 times a negative 4. 3/4 times a negative 4. I'm going to type that in here. 3/4 times a negative 4 is going to give me negative 3. Now here we've got r to the negative 2 times r to the 3rd. If I'm multiplying, I need to add my exponents. So that means I'm going to add negative 2 plus 3 is 1. So this just becomes r to the 1st power. I don't need to write that 1. I made a mistake. I didn't see this right here. So hopefully you can erase your work. I lost my toolbar. Okay. The first thing we need to deal with is this right here. If you have an exponent on the outside of a parentheses, you need to deal with that first. Yes. So we need to put a 1 here and multiply like this. Don't forget, this one has a 1 too. So that one gets multiplied by that 2 also. Okay. So this is all going to stay the same. We got 3/4 r to the negative 2, s to the 5th times. All right, so we have negative 4 raised to the second power. I'm just going to do that in my head. Negative 4 raised to the second power is going to be negative 16. What number is this? Okay, so then we got r to the third raised to the second power, 3 raised to the second power, multiply, so r to the 6th, 3 times 2. And then s right here, s to the first raised to the second power, multiply, s to the second. Okay. Now this right here is actually -4 raised to the second power. So it's -4 times a -4, which is positive 16. And notice the negative is inside of the parentheses. So when the negative is in the inside of the parentheses, it means something different. If the negative is on the outside of the parentheses, it drops down. -4 times -4 is a positive 16. Okay, now we're ready. So we got 3/4 times 16. 3/4 times 16, 12. Multiply these together and we get 12. Okay, so the next thing we're looking at is our r's. So we have r to the -2 times r to the 6th. Add our exponents, r to the 4th. We got s to the 5th, s squared. Multiplying our monomial, so we add our exponents, s to the 6th. Done. Almost done. Bear with me. All right, number 6. Straightforward, quotient rule. We have a negative on the outside. It's going to stay on the outside. Okay, 18/42. I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator. 18 divided by 42. When I type it in, it actually reduces it for me. So it's going to become 3/7. So this is 3/7. Okay, a to the 8th, a to the 5th. We are dividing them, so we're going to subtract. 8 minus 5, good. So a to the 3rd. All right? Now we got b to the 4th and b to the 7th. Subtract. 4 minus 7 is -3. Now we can't stop there because when you are simplifying monomials, you cannot have any negative exponents. So we have to simplify that negative exponent. So the rule here, we know, if you remember I was writing it over here, we need to move this guy to the bottom. When I move him to the bottom, he becomes positive. So now my final answer, -3a to the 3rd over 7b to the 3rd. Almost done. All right. So here what I'm seeing here is all of this is raised to the second power. There are multiple ways you can simplify this. When I see that I can simplify inside of the parentheses, I'm going to do that first. That way I don't have to do this multiple times. So right now I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at the inside of my parentheses and see, can I simplify this? I sure can, because I have 2 C's, 2 D's, and this can simplify too. Okay, so once again I'm going to type in 39/24. (39/24). So it simplifies to 13/8. Here, we got c to the 7th, c squared. What do I do with these? Subtract. So 7 minus 2 is 5. We get c to the 5th. All right? d to the 4th, d to the 5th. We need to subtract these. What is 4 minus 5? -1. So I would write d to the -1 right here, but I would end up moving it down here. So I'm going to skip that step. 4 minus 5, so I would have d to the -1. I know I need to move it down here. So this becomes d to the 1st. Now this whole thing is raised to the second power.